All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to all the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Bacharim, the house of David, that has been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation of Yasha'Allah. And this is from Dabu 77. It begins. Trump orders Treasury Secretary to stop minting pennies, pushes digital blockchain money. And you see this place, you see the dollar, it's already devalued, but that's the goal of these elites, is to ultimately get rid of the dollar as a whole. All right, paper money being obsolete. And the goal is to what? Push for digital currency as that's here today. All right, it's just not as like a mandated thing. Okay, you still have paper money, of course, but the goal is to push for a digital currency and in its entirety. Okay, as like the reserve currency of the world. This digital currency. Okay, and ultimately it's gonna go down to the chip, the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast. So I'm gonna play this video. Okay.
What's up, guys? D7 back at you again. And it looks like this time it's begun in terms of them doing away with all of our fiat currency. It's beginning. Trump is literally stopped.
Right. And fiat means that it's backed by nothing. All right. Your dollar, the US dollar, is backed by nothing. It's based on the belief that it has some type of value because the government said it would. True money, we know, is some type of gold, silver, all right, or a bartering system, something with true wealth. But the U.S. dollar is not. It was backed by gold once upon a time. But actually, I'm going to look that up. When was the gold taken out of the U.S. dollar? Look that up. When was the gold standard? It says the U.S. effectively ended the gold standard in two major steps. 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt took the U.S. off the gold standard domestically by forbidding the private ownership of gold and requiring citizens to exchange their gold for paper currency. This was done to combat the Great Depression and stabilize the economy. And the Great Depression was ultimately a setup for this. 1971, President Richard Nixon completely ended the gold standard internationally by suspending the convertibility of the U.S. dollar into gold. This event, known as the Nixon shock, meant that foreign governments could no longer exchange U.S. dollars for gold, officially making the dollar a fiat currency. Right, it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. All right, nothing with substance. By 1973, the global monetary system had fully transitioned to floating exchange rates, marking the final end of the gold standard, right? So ultimately it ended in the 1970s, okay? And that's when, the U.S. economy was very gradually, dwindling, okay? Because I remember even Malcolm X spoke about this, okay? And that was back in, not this particular, because obviously it's like the 70s, but going back in the 60s, he was talking about how the U.S. economy was dwindling. Okay, so let's go back.
The printing of pennies at this point because it costs too much to make. And I'm here to tell you, the nickel's the same way.
Right.
And it's just going to domino effect from here. This is the official.
It's going to domino effect, like you just said. They're starting with the pennies. For whatever excuse they're making, like it's costing too much. But then it's going to hit the nickel, then the rest of the coins, and then ultimately paper money. Okay, and they want to go through digital currency. All right.
Beginning of them stopping printing our change as we know it, our currency here in America. The penny will be no more after this year. They'll still be in circulation, but they're going to phase all this out.
Right.
You're going to see that this is part of a plan that I've been trying to tell you about, warn everybody about for years now. They're going to convert this whole thing into a digital system. Okay, you can call it what you want. They threw the people a bone with the whole executive order on a CBDC, for those not intelligent enough to see. With the other hand, they came through pushing Trump coin, Melania coin, World coin, and want to be the capital of the crypto universe, which is blockchain. And we've warned you about this through and through. All they got to do is tell people to download a wallet, and they're going to start getting all their stuff. Dude, digital dollars is what's about to happen. And this is the beginning of the end. People are going to think it's cool to be able to pay for things with just a swipe of their phone, eventually their hand with a chip in it. You already know where this goes. But it literally begins here in terms of doing away with our physical currency, fiat currency, the cash, the change. It starts with the change, literally the penny. It's going to work its way up. And once they introduce this digital dollar, so to speak, in the digital format, connected to blockchain, it's not the same as the other digital. Okay? When they do this and they get everybody onto it, over time, they'll just phase out the dollar. They'll say it's not being used no more, blah, 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 and it'll be phased out. So they won't even have a fight on their hands. But it starts just like this. Everything we ever warned about. So your freedom of privacy and everything else goes out the window when they convert all this to digital and they collect all this up. So with copper going up and all the precious metals going up, pennies are worth way more than a penny. It costs way more than that just to make it. The same with the nickel and so on and so forth. And any old change, it's got 90% silver in it. You already know. Worth a whole lot more. You see that? Get your hands on it and keep it. Hold.
Right. Okay. And again, they want to push. They want to push towards a digital currency via blockchain, and like he was saying, they want to have control over everything of what you eat, how you're spending. It's the elder Yashawamba always brings it out. All right, carbon tracking, how much you eat, what you can eat, how much you can get. The produce. All right, they'll give you like some type of rations. They want to have control and monitor everything you're doing. And they're going to ultimately, it's going to start by the digitally, all right, through your phones, okay, but ultimately, it's going to come down to that chip. Okay, Esau wants to be like the Most High. He wants to see everything that you're doing. You see, he wants to monitor, all of your transactions, everything. So this is James chapter 5, verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Let me get that word riches. Okay. It says Plutos in the Greek. Riches, wealth, abundance of external possessions, fullness, abundance. Go down. It says money, literally money, possessions. Right. So let me read it again. Verse 2. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Right. And you're seeing this economy, the US dollar is being devalued. All right. Actually, I was looking up earlier because the brothers was going in earlier about the US dollar, how it was so much more back then compared to now. Actually, let me just see. Yeah, here it is. It says, I put how much was $1 back in the 50s when America was at its golden state or golden age. It says $1 in the 1950s has significantly more purchasing power than Today, due to inflation, adjusted for inflation, $1 in 1950 is equivalent to about $12 to $13 in 2024. You see, and it gives you examples. A gallon of eggs was 25 cents back then. Man, now it's like $15 now. It's at some stores, $8 to $15 at least. You know, a dozen eggs 60 cents. Oh my bad. A gallon of gas is 25 cents. A dozen of eggs is 60 cents. A movie ticket was 50 cents. A McDonald's burger was 15 cents. You shouldn't be eating that stuff, but it goes to show you how much things have changed. All right, and Esau he wants his system to collapse. He wants this worldwide economy to collapse because in their minds they believe that they will rise out of the ashes, so to speak. All right, and have a new system, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, as you see, the forerunner of it, even though he's a puppet, it's Klaus Schwab. All right, but ultimately the elites, they want to bring in their new world order into fruition. All right, again through that, through the digital currency via blockchain, but ultimately it's gonna come down to that chip. That's the main goal. They just want to set up the digital currency. All right, get everyone used to that, which people really are already used to it. A lot of people pay with Google Pay. All right, or with their phones, especially in China. And a lot of people actually pay with their phones. Damn near the whole population. All right, and this is why you even see in America, like the brothers was talking again, because I was even thinking about that. Like, man, like Esau got rid of like the pay phones. Yeah, he could have looked that shit up. All right, but there's no need for it because everyone has a cell phone now. Even the homeless people. All right, they got the Obama phones. Okay, and that's all to connect everyone to this digital world that they're setting up. All right, you see AI on the rise. You know, like we're heading to a technological age. What they call technocracy. You see, and that's scriptures. That's prophecy. Revelation, the 13th chapter. Revelation 13, verse 16, and it caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right. So you won't be able to buy or sell if you don't have that chip. Okay. You won't be able to buy or sell. You won't be able to even live within this man's societies. Okay. Hey, he always shows you in these movies, then what's that movie called? I believe District 12, or it's a prelude to damn, what's that movie called? Let me look it up real quick. Hunger Games. That's what it's called. You basically had like these communities, basically like smart cities. That's how I look at it. They're like in a way they're showing you they're smart cities. Okay. So to be able to live within their smart cities and in these communities that they're gonna set up, you have to have that chip. It makes sense. It's the perfect plan. All right. Now let's get that word mark in the Greek. Okay. And the word is going to be charagma. Charagma. Okay. A stamp and a printed mark. Okay. So this is what John the Revelator, when he was in the island Patmos, that salt mine where he was in prison, this is what he saw. Okay. He's literally seen, what will happen 2,000 years later in the future. Man, it's amazing. All right. It says the mark branded upon horses, right? Because back then, when you had an animal, you would show ownership of the animal by having a marking on the animal, like a ox, all right, a bull. You would put an earring on that animal to show that he was already owned by somebody. So this is how the elites will show that they own you, that you by that chip. Okay, if you take that chip, you're saying that you're owned by the elites. Okay, and especially towards you Israelites, when in all actuality, your true master is Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, not this carnal devil who's messing up the whole world, who doesn't know how to rule right. You know, this a carnal devil. All right, the base of all men that's ruling, because ultimately the Most High gave this man the rulership because he was created to be the wicked. He was created to show you what wickedness is like. But the Most High is going to take this man out. You know? Let me get that in Daniel. All right. The basis of all men. Dang, what scripture is that? Is that Daniel 4? Let me see. Basis of all men. Let me see. Bear with me 1 second. I believe it's Daniel 4. Is this it? 4 verse 25. Let me just type it in. Just to be sure. Okay. Daniel 4 verse 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men." You see? So he set this man, Esau Edom, all right, the Edomites, and ultimately, particularly the chief house of Amalek, all right, the so-called Jews, Israelis, the elites who you see today that own everything, all right, Blackguard or BlackRock and Vanguard, that all goes back to the elites, all right, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, and so on and so on, even the ones that you don't know, the ones you don't see, all right. There's more families than that. It really goes deep, all right. But they're all of the house of Esau, Edomites. The Lord set them up to rule, all right, to show you what wickedness is like ruling, and it's very awful, okay. Like the scriptures say in Proverbs, when the actually, let me just get it, and I want to just quote it, because this man has messed up the whole earth, and the people of the earth are lamenting. The animals of the planet are lamenting because of this devil's horrible rulership, all right, his house management. Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, right. And when we rule, it's going to be a righteous kingdom, all right. You're actually going to live, even the heathen, all right. Everything is going to go back to its rightful order, and it's going to be a paradise once again forever, okay. But this man, Esau Edom, the elites, they're making everything hard on everybody, okay. Through poverty, through the food, all right, so on and so on. Everything is just out of order. Like the scriptures say, how people will be. What's that? And actually, let me get that in Matthew. There was a certain word for it. Let me see. Let me see. There's a certain word. Slocky. Bear with me for 1 second. 1 second. Damn, I'm trying to find this word. Man. I'll just type it in. I'll just type it in. No, that's not the scripture. It says 2 Corinthians. Yeah, that's not it. It's like, let me just see. Damn, that's not it. But it talks about how the people of the earth are perplexed, instead of confusion. I don't know why it won't give me that. Hold on, let me just type in Matthew. Maybe we'll go to Matthew. Okay, maybe it's in another verse. All right, I can't find it right now. But either way, it talks about people in a perplexed state, in a confused state. All right, because that's what they are. People are definitely in a upside down state of mind. You know, everyone is against each other. All right, like it says right here in Matthew 24, verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And you see that the love of many is waxing cold, and iniquity is abounding. It's getting, wicked out here. It's getting worse. But I don't mean to go off. Let's go back to James chapter. Actually, I want to go back to that word charagma. All right, in the Greek. Okay, so in this, it says a stamp and printed mark. All right, now let's get the root word of that. It's karax. Now it says a pale or stake or a palisade. You see, that's basically the needle. This is what John the Revelator saw. Now the root word of that is grapho. Okay, to write, the reference to the form of the letters. That's like the database, because that's where all your information will be stored at. It's on that chip. Your birth certificate, your ID, everything. You see? And people will look at that as a way of convenience, because they already have all the information stored on their phone in some ways. So this is what Esau's doing. He's gradually leading these people into a digital age, which we're currently in. All right, and there's going to be certain protocols, steps that's going to be taking place. All right, like digital currency via the blockchain, and ultimately it's going to be the chip. You see, he's preparing people to get used to it. Because right now people are definitely used to this digital world as we see right now. You do everything on this thing, on this device right here. All right, you can send money to people through Cash App, Venmo, all right, Zelle, PayPal, whatever. All right, you can get, everything's connected. Your credit card, your debit cards are on here. You'll see. So let me see. Let me see if I was done with that. James 5 verse 1. It says, Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your misery that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Now I want to get that NLT version actually of it. Okay. It says, Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away, right? And you see this economy dwindling, and it might do good for a good minute because Trump is in here, but ultimately it's going to end, or it's going to collapse, and especially the dollar is going to be done away with. Okay, they're going to find some way we'll see how they'll do it. But ultimately, we know it's gonna go down to that. It's gonna go down to digital currency, all right, and ultimately that chip. You see, it says your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver are corroded. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire, right? You know, because everything is gonna collapse sooner or later. All right, everything's gonna collapse, and that's what these elites want. All right, that's what they want. Okay, because they again they want to bring in the new world order system. All right, through that via the chip, and that's how they want to run the world. But it's only gonna last for a very quick minute, because we know that Yahushua is going to dismantle this whole man's plans, as it says in the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12. It says, "He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform the enterprise." Right? He's not gonna get very far. Yahushua is gonna come back, destroy this man's kingdom. You know, along with the ICBMs. Okay. Job 20, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall, and it's like, and shall rain it upon him when he's eating. Right? So his belly, your belly deals with your mind. So this man's mind, his mindset, again, is geared towards his new order. So right when he's about to fulfill it, all right, the Most High is going to bring that wrath upon him. Okay, as it says in the scriptures and in the book of Revelation, how his own allies are going to turn upon him. All right, all these other nations are going to be against him, especially the main opposition, Russia. Because World War III is going to take place right after the chip. World War III is going to take place, and ultimately Yahushua is going to come back, destroy this man's armies, all right, in the Middle East. Okay, so-called Middle East. All right, really it's West Asia. Okay, and then make its way over here, deliver the elect throughout the four corners of the earth, while destroying this place. With the host of holy angels and their chariots, which you call UFOs. Those are the spiritual vehicles that are from the heavens. And Yahushua is going to come back on a gigantic chariot, right? On a gigantic UFO. All right, think of Independence Day. All right, destroying and delivering the elect, and the icing on the cake is going to be them ICBM missiles. That's ultimately going to destroy this place, man. So right when he's about to fulfill his belly, he's chipping people, sudden destruction. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Right? Because again, America's gonna be nuked, man. If you're not part of the, well, ultimately, of course, if you're not part of the elect, but if you're a heathen, you're fucking through. If your feet are on the soils of America, when all hell's breaking loose, yeah, and if you haven't died by famine or anything, and you made it all the way to the end, once Yahushua returns, yeah, you're gonna get a front row seat to ICBM. Like that movie, Terminator 2: Judgment Day with Sarah Connor. All right, when she was burning on that fence, because of that nuclear explosion. All right.
Tap the chest, see what you get.
That's Satan, nigga. I've never seen that shit before ever. But yes, that's Satan. Lost my train of thought. But let me read verse 25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. Right, that glittering sword is talking about the ICBMs. And get Habakkuk, a precept to that. 3 verse 11. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation, right? Because again, when that nuclear missile implodes, all right, when it detonates and hits America and engulfs this place with flames, the smoke is gonna fill the atmospheres, man. All right, what they call what's that called after nuclear winter, And that's honestly, it's genius how the Most High created all that, because he gave this man the technology to do so. Isaiah 54, the smith that blow the coals, basically your modern scientists that, that create the formulas to create these missiles. All right, but it's going to, the missile's going to destroy this place, America, but at the same time, it's going to help cleanse the earth, that fire. All right, and the smoke going throughout the atmosphere is going to help clean this place. It says, because again, yeah, that the sun and moon still in their habitation, like the smoke in the atmosphere blocking out the illumination of the stars of the sun and moon. All right, and it says, at the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear. You see, that's the ICBM, the nuclear missile. Thou didst march through the land in indignation. Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. Right. These heathen are going to get a sore punishment if they're here. Well, not if, but if they make it all the way too. All right. They're going to get a front row seat to the ICBM, and 2/3 along with them. All right. But the Lord's going to deliver his elect throughout the four corners of the earth, So, yeah, I just want to make this quick lesson. Ultimately, you saw Dabu 7, he said they're going to stop printing these pennies, all right? And it's going to be a domino effect. It's going to go to other coins and ultimately the paper money, you see? So, let's, keep your eye, your eyes, all right, on the news, and just be a watchman, see what happens, all right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. All right, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodash, double honors to my apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to hopeful members elect. With that, shalom.